Let's start with a story. In April of 1976, I went to go to the beach for the first time. I'm a Pennsylvania girl in a landlocked county, and my family never went to Delaware or New Jersey for the beach. In 1976, we went to Florida, particularly North Fort Myers, and my first time in the ocean was at North Fort Myers Beach. It was a beautiful day. We had the beach pretty much to ourselves, and I was playing in the water, which was waist deep, with this little foot-long to 18-inch brown shark, or brown fish. I didn't know it was a shark at first. I'm playing with it, splashing around with it. It would rub against me, and I would pet it. And Fishy and I were having a grand old time. And suddenly, Fishy turned sharply and cut my leg with its fin. Yes, sharks have sharp fins if you hit them at the right angle. It left a gash in my knee that went down through all of the muscles and everything at the front of my knee and left a scar on my kneecap. I realized it cut my knee when I felt the pain of salt water in my knee. Anybody who's ever got salt in a fresh wound knows that feeling. I looked down and red was just spreading around my leg. I screamed because A, it hurt, and B, it was blood. And my father scooped me up, yelled at my brothers to get out of the water, and my mother called on the CB. We didn't have cell phones back then, and called somebody to help us find the hospital. A nice woman in a beautiful white van with a red leather interior, don't ask me why, but you remember certain things, took my mom and I, with my knee wrapped in a t-shirt, in the van. My father and my brothers followed behind. They took me to the hospital, where it took 30 plus stitches just on the surface to put my knee back together. I became a shark attack victim, or survivor, really. I have a nice scar on my knee, and I survived with just the scar. I also developed an interest in sharks. So in light of just missing Shark Week, and the fact that Jaws is having its 50th anniversary this year, I want to tell you a little bit about the metaphysical shark. In cultures that came in contact with sharks, historically, sharks are in that culture's myth. It's not one of those animals that the culture's considered unimportant. When sharks show up, they were playing important roles. Sharks have been known for being ancestor spirits and were often venerated in many cultures for this, including in Papua New Guinea. There is one culture, and I can't remember the name and I forgot to write it down, that when a child is stillborn, they have a ceremony where they put the child's spirit in a shark, and that child communicates with the people of that culture. There are stories of guardians sharks that can be found all over the Pacific Ocean, where when a natural disaster or a threat from outside, such as another tribe or another island group, sharks will show up before the other group does. And in Pacific Island cultures, sharks always deserved respect. They were seen as powerful and divine creatures. There are some cultures that even had deities that were sharks. The Greeks, on the other side of the world, had a sea spirit that was a shark, also known as a sea demon. His name was Achilles, and he was a young mortal man. He was transformed into a shark because he dared to tell Aphrodite that he was prettier than she was. Watch Aphrodite's temper when somebody says that. So she made him a shark. In modern metaphysics, witchcraft, and in dream magic, sharks have great symbolism. In dreams, may hint that you are being overwhelmed, feeling overwhelmed with that someone is trying to impede your progress professionally. I joke about this because when I worked my one job, I would have dreams that the salad bar at work was surrounded by either an alligator moat or a shark tank that I had to cross to get to the salad bar. At that time, I was feeling really, really overwhelmed at work. So keep an eye on things like that. At other times, they may represent your strength or your sixth sense, and that you are not tapping into either. Metaphysically, if sharks start showing up in your life, that is a tongue twister. And you're not like going out of your way to find sharks, Suddenly you find an IKEA Blaha, which is their little shark stuffy, like in your house, or every time you turn on the TV, there's a movie about sharks and it's not Shark Week, or you're suddenly seeing bumper stickers with sharks on all the time. Pay attention. It may be the universe trying to communicate with you. Sharks can represent change and adaptability. After all, you do not survive millions of years of existence without being adaptable. Sharks, because they have a sensory organ on them that allows them to feel energy fields, are said to have a sixth sense. And intuition. They can represent that you are not listening to your sixth sense and your intuition, and that it is time to pay attention. Sharks swim with an otherworldly grace. It is beautiful if you go to a shark tank. Not a sponsorship, but the National Aquarium in Baltimore has this shark tank that you basically go from the top of all the way down through to the bottom. And watching the sharks swim around is mesmerizing. They are so graceful. They are so beautiful. They are so confident in the water. So maybe it's time to tap into your grace and your confidence. Hold your head high a little more and be confident with who you are. And the last one is some sharks, in order to breathe, because of the gills they have, need to swim almost constantly. They can take breaks, just not long breaks, because they need to force the water through their gills in order to get oxygen. And when you watch them and they swim back and forth in a place, they tend to seem like they're wary of something. They're on guard, cautious. And maybe it's time, when you have dreams of them doing that, to take a look around you and say, okay, what do I need to be cautious with? They are also very graceful. And they can mean that it is time to take care of your mind, body, and spirit. Because as they swim, they are taking care of their needs. We don't think about breathing or our heart beating. They just do it. And at times we take it for granted. So sometimes it's time to look at your life and say, where am I being lax on taking care of my mind, body, and spirit to be healthy? So yes, they can warn you, look at your health. And that is my little bit about sharks and metaphysics. I'm sorry this is a little longer than I hoped, but I hope you learned something. And keep watching for Mystic Heart Healing.